Welcome back. If you are new here, I am Amber of Unique Upcycles, and in today's video we are continuing on with week 3 of the 90s month of Melange. So this is actually going to be kind of like a 2-part series. So I decided to finish off this whole 90s little throwback theme that we've got going on with the rest of the entertainment center that I started in the first video. So I did the center part with the main part that like your TV sat on, and then it also had 2 of the tall towers on the side. So that's why this is going to become a 2-part series. I'm going to take those 2 towers and transform them into 4 pieces of furniture, making them like matching end table nightstand kind of sets. So this video will be one of the sets in this week's color, and then next week's video will be the second set in the final color of the month. So be sure to stick around to the end of the video to see how you can transform these. I see these pieces all over Marketplace, all over the place. People just want to get rid of them. And you can upcycle and repurpose these and make them into something that they're not. They do not just need to go to the landfill because they are ugly and orange. You can definitely give them a whole new life. So if you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification so you can get notified when I post. I try to post every Saturday. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, and here is what we are working with for today's video. Like I said, I'm going to make this a 2-part series. Today we will be working on the top half of the towers, so be sure to subscribe so you get notified next week when I transform the lower half. So I told my dad that I was going to cut these in half with my jigsaw, and his exact words were, "No, I've seen your jigsaw cutting skills, I'll bring the skill saw over." Which was probably a better idea anyways. So he cut both towers in half for me. Alright, and here is what we are left with after the towers were cut in half. So I'll be working on the top half to create the set that I'll be working on in this video. So first step was to remove everything, the shelves and the little lighting fixture that was in there. I did already take the glass doors off before we started cutting, and I was able to finally get that little piece of wood off that was hiding the light. My camera died before I actually got it all the way off, but it is out. Using my orbital sander, I gave both pieces a good scuff sand using a 120 grit sandpaper. I don't like how all these excess holes look for the adjustable shelf, so I just picked a couple good areas where I thought the shelf would be a good place to sit, and then I filled in the remaining holes with some Bondo. Then using just some regular wood filler, I filled in all the seams and joints so that they weren't as obvious and deep, as well as any imperfections and dents and dings that I found on both of the pieces. After all the Bondo and wood filler had dried, I took my orbital sander back in and sanded everything smooth with a 220 grit sandpaper. A couple of the shelves had the little front trim decorative detail coming off, so I just took some Gorilla Glue to glue that back in place, and then instead of using clamps, I used some frog tape and I taped it on there to hold it in place really tight, kind of like a clamp. I didn't have one that would quite fit the width that I needed, so that always works as a backup. I applied 2 coats of Zinsser Bin shellac-based primer with a chip brush to both of the cabinets. I'm just going to show you the process on one of them because obviously it's the same for the second. I'm making them a matching set, and nobody wants to watch the same thing twice. After I got done priming, I noticed that there was a little bubble of the veneer that was popping up that I didn't notice before. So I just took an X-Acto knife and cut a slit in the area that was lifted, and then using my glue syringe, I squirted in some Gorilla Glue into the lifted up veneer area, and then wiped off any excess glue, and then I just put a piece of frog tape over it and held it in place and kind of just rubbed it flat for a while. Once again, I didn't have a clamp that was going to hit that area. After I was done repairing that veneer, I sanded all of the primer smooth to get rid of any texture left over from the chip brush, and then using a microfiber cloth, I wiped back any dust that was kicked up from the sanding. This week's new launch color is called Bare Naked Pink. It's a really pretty, like, peachy pink color. I'm not a pink fan, and I really like this one. If there's a such thing as a neutral pink, I would say this is it. I did a total of 3 coats of this paint, and I applied it all with my zebra fan brush. I'm going to be applying a peel and stick contact paper to the back, but to ensure that I don't have any areas of white showing through in case my contact paper doesn't line up perfectly with the edges, I switched over to my zebra square brush, and I'm just painting the outline of the back to help hide that, to camouflage any imperfections. To seal in my paint, I am using Minwax Polycrylic in Ultra Clear Flat. I did mix in a little bit of the paint into the top coat to tint it, and I am applying this with the same zebra fan brush that I used to paint the entire piece. I did a total of 2 coats. I'm going to be adding legs to this, so I cut 4, well technically 8 pieces of scrap wood that came from the center of the tower. You know, you don't waste anything, and so now I'm just measuring and marking where the screw holes for the actual legs go. The center of the leg is hollow, and I'm going to be pre-drilling a hole and screwing the little block of wood as well as gluing it to the bottom so that it is secure in place. But since that center of the leg is hollow, I don't have to worry about that center screw hitting the base, so it won't affect it when I screw the actual leg in place.
No, you just wanna find some kind of lucky pill for free, but you just have to keep showing up.
Last step was to add the peel and stick wallpaper. I got this at Target. I will link everything that I used in the description below. Before we get into the final reveal, let's take a look back and remember what we started with. And here is the final reveal. What do you guys think about this color? It's probably one of my favorites so far in the launch. I did really like Santeria, which was the first one. I will have all the other videos for the launch listed in the description below in case you missed any. And for those of you that are here for the numbers, I got this piece for free. I have a total of $65 invested. I'll be listing it for $250 with hopes to make a $185 profit. I will keep you guys updated on when it sells. As always, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next Saturday with the final color of the nostalgic 90s launch.